Hey, welcome back to the Orloff show. It's July 31st, 2024 in the year of our Lord. And it's a wonderful hot day watching Trump rally about to happen. I wanted to give you a product review to start off the show. Boy, I tell you, you never thought July would end, did you? Well, it's July 31st. What a month we lived through. But it's not over yet. But anyway, this is you've got a Dollar General near you. This town is so small that I live in. We don't have a Dollar General. We have a Dollar Private. Well, it's not very funny, but anyway, this clock is available on sale. It's on sale for $18. I should not have. I had no choice. I mean, it's a prayer clock. And I had to get this, even though $18 is a lot of money. So the cool thing about this, let's see, is that, look at this. The voice, it's voiced by the Academy Award. He's a Grammy Award. How's he a Grammy Award winning? Well, like a Emmy and Tony. He's won every kind of award that exists. Academy, Grammy, Emmy, and Tony Award-winning actor James Earl Jones. Yeah, see, look at him laughing that you just spent money on the clock. But no, it's a great clock. It really is, because it reads a Bible verse on the hour every hour in James Earl Jones' voice, which is great because, we here at the Hotel Orloff we love the Bible, and we also love Darth Vader. It's the family Bible. It's been passed down to me. So let's do it. Let's test this clock out. And if we position it near this high-priced Darth Vader, we'll get a, let's see. I'm not doing this to be disrespectful. I just think I was always wondering why I bought this. Well, it's cool. It was at Toys R Us or something. But, my memory of Darth Vader from Star Wars, I don't remember the silver stuff, the silver breastplate. I don't think that was in the original Star Wars movie. Was that put in? And when did that start? Is that, I don't know. Maybe it was in the original 3 Star Wars movies. I just don't remember. It's one of those, what do they call it? The butterfly effect or whatever. Who knows? Okay, so he's supposed to be strangling someone here, but I don't know if I've got anything for him to strangle. Let me look around. Maybe I've got something he can have in his hand.
Israel did take down and assassinate one of Hamas's big leaders.
How about a microphone? That'll be great. Now let's use this microphone. These are microphones we've been using here on the Orloff Inspirational Network. But let's see. Will this microphone stay in his hand? Oh, yes, it will. That's great. Oh, it fell right out of his hand.
President Trump stands for traditional morality, and especially standing up for the rights of Catholics and Jews and Christians of all types.
Come on. Okay, maybe that's better.
Against the left, against Joe Biden, against Kamala Harris. It's a really sad situation, but President Trump will bring it back and bring it back stronger than ever.
Okay.
He'll bring peace to the world just because you're talking about.
That's what we need.
He's a peacemaker, and he knows how to bring peace. And we're in Pennsylvania as well, where the Liberty Bell is in Philadelphia. This is basically where our country was founded.
Our founding fathers.
Founding fathers, Ben Franklin, University of Pennsylvania.
You got to position you just right.
Where the origins of our country began.
Yes.
And to have a rally here, and for this state, basically the state will decide whether America continues to exist.
That's right.
It's there's a
There we
lot
go.
of significance to that.
And we need Pennsylvania to go red.
Absolutely. We need Pennsylvania to go red.
Okay, so
Constitution anymore.
Let's test this clock out. See you. Oh,
Change this state.
drop.
It went right in
It's a mic
2016.
drop.
It did so in 2020, but for the cheating, it will do so again.
Come on, Darth. Hold the microphone properly.
Do it again. I will tell you. I've been to Butler. I've been to Philly. I'm now.
Come on, you
Harrisburg.
swine.
In all three cities, I have never seen enthusiasm like this in my life. I've never
All right.
seen this kind of level of excitement anywhere. And here's the key.
Okay, so it's coming up to 11 o'clock. Let's see what happens at 11 o'clock.
Excitement. And that's what I think is the pivotal word here.
Do not ye therefore liken to them, for your Father knoweth what things ye have need of before ye ask him.
They're being really
After this manner therefore pray ye,
inducted into
Our
position.
Father, which art in heaven,
You have the right
hallowed
to
be
vote
thy
for whatever
name.
you want.
Thy kingdom come,
Democracy is a
thy
republic.
will be
It's a
done
country
in
where you
earth
have
as it is in
rights to do
heaven.
what you want.
Give us this day our daily bread,
Informed
and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
So at 11 o'clock, you get the Lord's Prayer. Let's see what happens at noon or midnight. And it talks whether it's not light activated, so it'll talk to you in the dark.
Jesus answered and said unto them, Verily I say unto you, if ye have faith and doubt not, ye shall not only do this which is done to the fig tree, but also, if ye shall say unto this mountain, Be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, it shall be done.
Okay. Some of the times, it's not a very long Bible passage. So I don't know. 11 o'clock
And it
is the
came to
one.
pass, as he sat at meat with them, he took bread, and blessed it, and brake it, and gave to them.
This ain't my first Trump rally. This is probably my third Trump rally. Been to the one in Hershey Park.
Okay. 2 o'clock. What does Darth Vader say?
Grace be unto you, and peace, from God our Father, and from the Lord Jesus Christ.
3 o'clock.
But the God of all grace will call us unto his eternal glory by Christ Jesus. After that ye have suffered a while, make you perfect, establish, strengthen.
But you know, it seems like that hasn't stopped the momentum.
4 o'clock.
Now when all the people were baptized, it came to pass that Jesus also, being baptized and praying, the heaven was opened.
5 o'clock.
And as he prayed, the passion of his countenance was altered, and his raiment was white and glistering.
We need him back in the White House.
6 o'clock.
The country needs him. It's the border patrol, the drugs.
And it came to pass in those days that he went out into a mountain to pray, and continued all night in prayer to God.
It's not safe for them to be in our country.
7 o'clock.
Grace and peace be multiplied unto you through the knowledge of God and of Jesus our Lord.
Resulted in hundreds of thousands of American lives lost. So, what she's done,
8 o'clock.
Now the God of peace, that brought again from the dead our Lord Jesus, the great shepherd of the sheep, through the blood of the everlasting covenant.
The Biden-Harris regime, the worst presidency we have ever seen.
9 o'clock.
Grace be unto you and peace from God our Father and from the Lord Jesus Christ.
We gotta fight for Trump.
And 10 o'clock.
Absolutely, 100%. One last question for you, and I'll let you go.
Unto him be glory in the church by Christ Jesus, throughout all ages, world without end.
A
Amen.
little late to the campaign.
Okay, and then that's everything. So the actual time right now is about 6-7 minutes till 11 a.m. on July 31st.
Pennsylvania will go back for President Trump. Do you think he'll vote for President Trump?
So
Yes, I think Pennsylvania will vote for Trump and
I've set the clock, and I'll put it back in its position on the wall.
You're amazing. And enjoy your day.
I moved Darth Vader up here from the basement,
Historic rally.
but I don't know if I want to keep him here.
I want to do another sponsor from the Tax Network USA. Are you, our audience, struggling with back taxes or unfiltered returns, or unfiled returns, I'm sorry. The IRS is escalating collections.
Because
20,000 new agents and
I love the original Star Wars movies from 1977 to 1983, but now Star Wars, if you say Star Wars, there's so many other Star Wars movies that people associate with it.
You want to avoid that.
And then you have to say, no, I only like the original first three. And then people think you mean episodes 1, 2, and 3 with the little baby Darth Vader, which of course is not what you're referring to, but you gotta have to you have to be my age to understand what the original Star Wars movies were, the original 3. So it's a pain. Oh, I should show you my other talking clock that's actually vintage. I guess you'd call it vintage. You know, I was in Toys R Us in the late 90s and saw this wrestling clock that I thought was really funny, and I bought it, and surprisingly it still works. It was well made. So maybe you could find one on eBay now. Let me it's upstairs. Let me grab it, and I'll give you I'll spin it around. You can hear all the wrestlers' voices shouting at you. It's a pretty spectacular clock. I'll go grab that. I'll let you watch this while I go upstairs.
So they're a great company. Obviously, you want competent professionals who know what they're doing to manage your tax filings now with an IRS that is being weaponized, that is being bolstered up by the Biden regime, by the Democrats. And obviously, the Biden people and Kamala Harris, by extension, wants to raise taxes. Donald Trump, I've been to so many of these rallies, and he always says this. He always says, I've never seen someone run for president who actually openly admits to wanting to raise your taxes. I mean, we remember back Bush 41, read my lips, no new taxes, and I backfired on him because he brought out new taxes. They usually lie about it. Joe Biden has been open about wanting to raise your taxes, wanting to basically regulate you out of existence, especially if you're a small business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, you're fulfilling the American dream. They're coming after you because they don't want independence. They want Big Brother, complete control over every aspect of your life. So it's such yet another reason why this election season is so important, why this November 5th will be the most important day in our country's history. Nikki, do we have time for another interview?
Yeah, absolutely.
I see, Nikki.
I'm just talking to my new friends over here.
So we're going to.
I'm talking to my new friends who are RSBN fans and watchers. And we are going to be. I'm sorry. Say that again, guys. We've got.
Okay, so this is WWF. Now they don't call it the WWF anymore because the World Wildlife Fund got upset in the early days of the internet when people would. Someone else had the same acronym as them, so they changed to WWE at some point. But this is back in the old days when they had Stone Cold Steve Austin, and you have The Rock and Kane, and this has entertained me for years. And usually I have it in the kitchen, and it's a perfect place for this clock. It runs on a AA battery. Because right about 5 o'clock, when you're probably cooking dinner, if you don't just eat takeout, The Rock says, "Can you smell what the Rock is cooking?" And one of these guys, I think it's the Undertaker, a little bit later will say, "My creatures of the night will feast upon the flesh of your corpse," which always. And another one that's really funny is when Stone Cold Steve Austin. Will say, "Quit your crying, son, or I'll give you something to cry about." My wife was talking to one of her friends on the phone about a family tragedy that they were having, and this clock went off right as they were having this deep discussion. "Quit your crying, son." And so this clock will always answer. This clock is the Jesus clock. You don't really want to laugh at it, except that it's got Darth Vader's voice. That's kind of funny, but it's just you don't laugh at Bible verses. It's cool because he's got that voice This is CNN. He's got that voice all filled with gravitas. So he really is perfect for a Bible clock. I wish the picture of Jesus was better drawn on the clock. It looks a little cheap, but you know, the Darth Vader voice is great. James Earl Jones, I guess I should say. You know, that's not really right. You know, people like Adam West through the rest of his life. Hey, there's Batman, or Fred Gwynn is in a movie, and everyone in the audience says, "Look, there's Herman Munster." Poor people. But anyway, it's about to be 11, and this clock is all sticky from being in the kitchen for decades. But I'll give it a spin for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Know your role, jabroni.
Okay, so that's The Rock. Know your role, jabroni. Let's see. Am I going forward? Let's make sure I'm going clockwise here. Yes, okay, so we move forward to the next hour.
You treat me like a dog and you expect me to smile?
Drew, we weren't talking to you. Drew looks like, you talking to me? You talking to me? Well, there's no other dog here. So you must be talking to me. Yeah, that one's pretty funny too. It's just all threats from different wrestlers. Let's see. We go forward. I guess it's going to be Sable. She's been forgotten. I don't know what happened to Sable. I know, I've seen Stone Cold Steve Austin on commercials. The Rock is obviously in every other movie. I don't know what happened to Sable, though. Let's see what she says.
What are you looking at?
What are you looking at? Yeah. And then, I guess we're moving down to... Who are we moving down to now? Let's see.
Rest in peace.
Okay, so that must be Kane saying "rest in peace." That's another one that can really be interesting to just pop on. Let's see what else we got. I guess this 6 o'clock. That's going to be when the Undertaker says that my creatures of the night line. Boy, it's hot out here on the porch, man. It's going to get up in the 90s today. I'm used to living in Texas where it could get up to 110 at this time of the year, but I'm not used to it anymore. I was used to it from living there since, pretty much all my life, but I've become unaccustomed to it. Okay, listen to this. It's great.
Do you smell what the Rock is cooking?
No, that's the Rock. Okay, so let's see. Let's see what the next one is.
That's the bottom line, cause Stone Cold said so.
Okay. Next one.
You can look all you want, but keep your hands to yourself.
I guess that's Sable, I suppose. I think she's the only girl on here.
My creatures of the night will feast upon the flesh of your corpse.
Yeah, that's my favorite one. I was thinking, what if we have this clock and the Bible clock like right in the same room at the same time? They'd be, one would be shouting and one would be giving you a Bible verse. It would be almost like an exorcism. The Bible clock would be trying to exorcise the demons out of these crazy wrestlers. I'm glad it doesn't have China on here, because China had I think she died, and she had kind of a bad end after she left from the WWE. She wound up being in a She-Hulk movie, but not the Disney version, one that is we don't want to talk about here. Let's see. Let's keep going. Am I going backwards? No, I'm going correct. I'm seeing everything backwards on my phone.
Shut your mouth, jabroni.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, we're getting up. We almost went all the way around the clock.
Quit your crying, son, or I'll give you something to cry about.
Didn't we already hear that? Does he say that twice on here? Okay, so it's after 11, so I gotta go a few. I think he says that twice on here. I could have sworn. Am I going back? Oh, I'm going. Oh, wait, I'm going. No, I'm going the right way. All right.
I'm not just another pretty face.
What? Seems like some of these repeat.
You cannot kill what is already dead.
That's a good one. Yeah, some of these, there's a couple of these, I never realized that they say twice on the clock. You cannot kill what is already dead. That's a good one.
It's reasons like this that Americans do turn to our fabulous sponsor, Birch Gold. We're very, very happy to share this with you.
Know your role, jabroni.
And that brings us up to 11 o'clock a.m. Let me see what the exact time is. It's about 11:05, so let's get this back in its proper place, and then I've got some organizing to do in the comic room, which
it's a tough face, see if you can remember it. The word is Trump. Trump to 989898.
Yeah.
Just text Trump to 989898.
Here's a normal clock that I got years ago that kind of looks vintage but isn't. I think I got it at Target. I just got to put a new battery in it. So how are you guys been? How have you guys been doing? I haven't been coming on here very much onto YouTube because my wife has been very sick, and right now she's asleep, and I'm trying not to wake her up. I started to. Finances are not doing well right now, so I started a GoFundMe, and I think there are 10 people that have donated, and it's very appreciated, very much. I really thank you guys for doing that. I think we've raised over $300 now. We need more than that, but you know, I'll do a live stream tomorrow, and I'll put the GoFundMe address on there, so you'll know how to donate if you'd like. If not, just say, you know, a prayer. If you don't have any money, I understand that. That'd be nice, you know. You know, people that have more subscribers, people just like send them like super chats, read my comment, and here's $25, you know, things like that, or this is just, you know, for you to keep going, anyway, whatever. Let me set this down, and I'll go put this clock back up, because I don't want to wake up my wife. So don't fall. I'll be back. Damn it. I told you not to fall. We're still recording? Yeah. Okay, oh, look at this. This is for Kevin at Gotham City Comics. I found another shrunken head I forgot I had. See, this is the one I showed you the other day, but I found this one. It looks like they're from the same manufacturer. Look at that. Father and son. Okay, let me just... I'll set this down over here, perhaps.
I'm guessing. I am, yeah. Also dressed fabulously. And so, what is your biggest concern about what's going on right now in the nation and what you want to see change?
Oh, our children. Definitely, I worry about our children. Yeah.
And I don't think you're alone. I think a lot of people here today feel the same way. It's so wonderful to meet both of you girls. Thank you for being here today. Let's make America great again, right? Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
I'm excited to announce my all-new mattress topper. In the times we're in, I wanted to bring you the best affordable mattress topper ever. So I took my two best technologies and combined them to make the ultimate mattress topper. And now you can get it for as low as $69.98. Queen size, only $99.98. It all starts with my famous MyPillow foam that provides you that overall full body support. Second is the individual comfort supports that give you an amazing custom sleep experience. It's like it's made specifically for you. The queen size alone has over 14,000 comfort supports. This is the perfect mattress topper to improve any bed. New bed, old bed, your guest beds. Get them for every bedroom in your house. Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get the all-new My Mattress Topper for as low as $69.98. Queen size, only $99.98. Don't delay, order today.
Welcome to the Right Side Broadcasting Network. We're not like the other media outlets out there that cut and edit what other people say. In 2015, we were created by our founder, Joe Seals, to cover President Donald J. Trump's speeches and rallies, to which we continue to do to this day. We've also covered important conservative events like CPAC, TPUSA, March for Life, and many other important events and hearings around the country. We were made for people like you, everyday Americans who are tired of the mainstream media, who are tired of being lied to, manipulated, and fed an agenda. Our goal here at Right Side Broadcasting is to allow you to see the truth, giving our correspondents and commentators a wide latitude to speak their minds. You won't find anything like this in the mainstream media. Your support through your donations, locals, and supporting our advertisers allows us to continue to cover important events around the country each and every day. So, from us here at Right Side Broadcasting, thank you for supporting us and the right side of history.
You ask and we listen. We're finally bringing the most requested offer ever. Get the queen size premium My Pillow, not only $19.98. My Pillow is made with patented adjustable fill. It adjusts.
Uh-oh, I lost the connection. What in the name of all? Why have I lost the connection? I'm recording this Trump rally and I lost the Wi-Fi connection. Dang. So anyway, how are you guys doing? See, I've got the spinning wheel going. I record every Trump rally. You may call me a maniac, but I feel like I'm recording history, and who knows, this may all be memory hold. It may be all fleshed down, gotten rid of if the wrong person becomes president at some point. Maybe all these recordings could be gotten rid of, scrubbed from the internet. Things like that have happened in various parts of the world, believe it or not. Okay, so Wi-Fi, come on. Yeah, the new thing of the Democrat side is to call the Republicans weird. That's their new talking point. And they say, well, Donald Trump is old and he's really weird. And that's their thing. And every MSNBC, CNN, all the Mockingbird press, because they say Mockingbird because they repeat everything that they're told to repeat. That's their whole new thing. The Republicans are weird. Now, the J.D. Vance does come across as a little strange, but we'll see how that goes. But I've been called weird all my life. Actually, it used to be weird was a compliment back in the 60s and 70s, and Austin, Texas used to be a kind of a eccentric town before it became just another Silicon Valley. But they would always have signs everywhere. Keep Austin weird. Don't change Austin, But now weird has become the new word. Boy, they're just so weird over there. And it's okay. I've got the internet going back again.
Exactly. So interesting that
So whatever. So here at the Orloff Inspirational Network, about 16, 17 weeks ago, we started doing a Thursday night live stream called The Dum Dum in honor of Edgar Rice Burroughs, because, if you've ever read any of Edgar Rice Burroughs' Tarzan books, the great apes would have a Dum Dum celebration, after a victory or something. Just part of their culture. So we started doing this live on Thursday nights, and last week I was talking to Kevin from Gotham City Comics, and this comment pops up in the chat, and I put it on the screen, and it says, "The Micronauts started in 1976. I'm saying, what? It was like, and I said, "Kevin, were we talking about the Micronauts?" And he says, "No, not in this stream. Maybe we were talking about the Micronauts a few weeks ago or something." I was like, well, and I said, "Actually, I haven't thought about the Micronauts in several days." Well, I was thinking about the Micronauts a couple of days ago, and I was moving a Baron Karza action figure. But anyway, so it was just very strange that this comment appeared out of nowhere. And it was almost like this comment just came out of like someone was watching another show and accidentally put the comment in our stream. Because I don't know if you've ever done this, and you write a text message and you accidentally send it to the wrong person. Has that ever happened to you? Anyway, this person basically did that. They sent it to the wrong show. Say they were watching my show and another show. And I thought to myself, well, what other comic book show is, and not that I'm a comic book show, but I guess I am, it comes on at the same time that I remember, there's this new show that this guy started 2 or 3 weeks ago putting on at the exact same time as my show on Thursday night, which is okay because I don't own Thursday nights. And he seems like a pretty cool guy. And so afterwards I went and watched that live stream, and right about that same point, about halfway through the show, when that comment appeared about the Micronauts, they were looking at a Micronauts comic, and then they were wondering, did the Micronauts toys come out before or after Star Wars? In actuality, the Japanese toys were pre-Star Wars, but, Mego put them out in the United States after Star Wars to kind of cash in on it, because it's a space kind of toy. Anyway, one of the people that has commented on this show and must watch that show too, commented on mine, and then later realized and commented over there. So I realized, there are people watching both streams. Maybe I should move my show to Tuesday night and give that guy Thursday night, because I don't have any Thursday nights. Not really. I was only doing Thursday night because my wife works that night. But lately my wife's been sick and hasn't been able to work, and we've been losing a lot of money because she can't do that. She's pretty much bedridden, and a couple of weeks ago was just in pain, screaming. And she's better with that now, but she's certainly not feeling well and is very depressed. And, like I said, if you could help with that GoFundMe, that'd be great. I may move to Tuesday night or something, because, I think a lot of the people that watch this show watch that show, because they have a lot of, it's a new guy that started about the same time as Higgy Pop, called Psychotronic Squirt Gun, and he has some show where they show a lot of comic books, which I don't do much of that anymore, although I'm about to. And I think a lot of people that are just only into comic books, they look for alternatives to my show, because I don't give them enough of what they're wanting. Just because I have other interests, and sometimes I just don't even want to think about it. Anyway, that's a good show. He has guests on like Higgy Pop and Metarog, which is big deal, and Dr. Silver Age, and a lot of the people in the chat watching that show seem to be some of my audience, and some people that used to watch my show and kind of said, "Sayonara, that guy's too much for me." That's fine. Psychotronic Squirt Guns is a great show. He seems like a really nice guy, so I may move the Dum Dum to Saturday afternoon or Tuesday or some other night. But I really can't even do shows hardly at all now because I just, it's just no fun to do a show when your wife's in the other room in pain. I'd rather spend time with her, no offense to you guys. So what was I wanted to show you? Oh, I've got some stuff to show you upstairs. Oh, and this was really funny. I was doing a live stream about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I hesitate. I don't want to show you. I have these squirt guns here. These squirt guns from when I was a kid. I'll show them to you real quick. Anyway, I'm scared to do that because when I was showing them on a live stream, and they cut my live stream and they forbid me from doing a live stream like forever because I had shown firearms. And they're squirt guns. They're toys from when I was 5. And the AI is getting real bad on this social media that monitors everything you do, and so they thought. So anyway, that got rectified, and I was able to do live streams again on YouTube. Then, not too long after that, I was on Instagram, and I found some alternate from the same photo shoot where Uma Thurman is doing the photo shoot for the one sheet for the poster for the movie Pulp Fiction back in the 1990s. She's laying there and she's got a gun in one hand. And in one of the shots, she just kind of has the gun right under her chin, pointed up. And I posted on an Instagram, and immediately I couldn't do anything on Instagram. I couldn't post. I couldn't see other people's stuff. And then it turns out, well, they're asking, do you need help? Are you... So they thought, so apparently, I didn't even want to say the word, GUNs are completely getting to be forbidden. And I hear Kamala Harris talking about in her first 100 days in office, she's going to just completely ban them and have them confiscated and all this. So that's apparently the new Silicon Valley crusade, is to not show GUNS on social media. But then that went away, and they let me back on Instagram. But then yesterday it happened again, but it wasn't a G this time. It wasn't a picture of a G. I posted a picture of Shemp Howard. Now, Shemp Howard is one of the Three Stooges, right? The coolest people I've ever met in my life were huge Shemp Howard fans. And, that's always the argument. Is Shemp or Curly? Well, why argue? Why Shemp and Curly are both great. If there's a Shemp episode of the Three Stooges comedies on, that's great. If you get one of the Curly shorts, that's great too. They're both great. They're both brothers. They're both fantastic. But Shemp kind of seems like people more into old rock and roll tend to go for Shemp because he's like insane in a rock and roll way, like the way his hair falls down over his face is kind of like Jerry Lee Lewis insanely playing his piano. So they go for Shemp. Anyway, I posted a picture of Shemp Howard, and Shemp Howard is petting Pete, or Petey, the little dog with the ring around his eye from the Our Gang comedies, which anyone under the age of 80 knows as the Little Rascals comedies. But my parents were older than most of my contemporaries, and they were little kids when those Our Gang comedies came out. So they always called them Our Gang comedies, but on TV they called them Little Rascals. I think when TV started and the Our Gang comedies were put on television, they were originally shown before movies in theaters, obviously, just like Three Stooges comedies were. What am I talking about? Having a Joe Biden moment. Oh, I guess they changed the name to Little Rascals, and so anyone, so pretty much anyone 70 in their 70s or under kind of thinks them as Little Rascals comedies, and they may have been called both back in their heyday. I don't know. I wasn't around then, but anyway, the little dog from the R Gang, Little Rascals comedies, is jumping up on Shemp, and Shemp is looking down, kind of petting this dog. And this picture, and then I posted that picture, and then instantly I can't post anything anymore, and I get a message that this will not be tolerated. Pictures of terrorism and bad thoughts and ideas, and it's like. I see that, and then they show the picture in question, and it's a picture of Shemp Howard, the Three Stooges. And I look at it and think, is something hidden in this picture? Is there some hidden code that something that I can't see, but AI computer can detect some secret message put into the pixels of this Shemp picture? And I look at it and squint and realize that Shemp Howard is outside. The sun's coming down. He's looking down, and there's a shadow under his nose. And I think the AI thought I'd posted a picture of Adolf Hitler. And it's like, that was forbidden. So anyway, I sent a message back and said, this is not what you're thinking it is, Mr. AI. And I'm excited. Anyway, I got my account. It came back. I just had to restart my phone. But that's happened to me 3 times for completely innocent things. A squirt gun, a picture of Uma Thurman, and a picture of Shemp Howard. And yet on Instagram, you can watch videos of gangs doing horrible things and trucks crushing people, all kinds of horrible things. It's worse than Faces of Death, that VHS tape back in the 80s on Instagram. But I don't know. I think they want that stuff to be on Instagram because they want to bring society down, because these cultural Marxists want us to think we live in a degenerate, horrible society. They want us to despair. So they want a lot of really bad stuff to be shown that shows how bad America is. But then there's certain messages that maybe just are forbidden. And maybe it's because I've posted pro-Trump stuff on Instagram. That could be it too, but I don't know. But that's something interesting. So what I found is that AI is constantly watching you here on these platforms. And where's looking for the charging? Oh, there it is. And I've discovered that Thursday night may not be a good night to do the live stream because a lot of the viewers are conflicted. Do I watch Grot Orloff? Or do I watch this new hip show, Psychotronic Squirt Gun, where they actually show comic books? And anyway, I just got too much to do. We've been tomorrow the house should be completed. They're going to put the gutters on and the house supposedly. We'll see how that goes. So think I'd get set up in advance, but I don't. I wait to the last minute while I'm actually recording to set up for the show. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? I've got to file a bunch of comic books. I've got a whole box of books that needs to be filed. And then a few days ago, the dog came in here and puked on the floor a bunch of liquid vomit. And I came in and it was on the floor and it was starting to soak into that box, but it didn't go through the box yet. So I found another box, empty cardboard, one of these comic boxes, and to move those books. Anyway, no books were damaged, don't worry. But, and the dog is fine and all that. Okay, so what do we got here? Now, Gotham City Comics sent me some bags and boards, but I can't find where they are. Sometimes the other day I was gonna do a live stream where I pretended to be someone else. And Kevin at Gotham City Comics in Mesa, Arizona sent me this blonde-haired wig that's a zombie wig you're supposed to put on top of a zombie mask. And I put it on and it was funny because it was like a Kurt Cobain wig. And then I was looking for that mask. And I said, I remember taking it off in the attic. And but I was filming when I took it off. So I had to go back and find that live stream from like a month ago and fast forward through it. And then I saw, oh, I put it on top of a toy spider up above the refrigerator. I never would have looked up there. I was putting the wig up there so the dog wouldn't maul it. I was trying to put it up high, and it was too high for me I would never have looked up there. So I found the wig, so I might use that on tomorrow's live stream, so who knows. I shouldn't give away the secrets. Man. Oh, what am I doing? This room is a mess, and I don't know where to put things. Hold on. Oh, I see. Oh, Jambo, if you're watching this, hopefully you're doing well. I heard that there was some stuff going on, but I'm putting your DVDs together, and you and your family are in my prayers and everything, and hopefully everything's going fine. I heard, I think maybe Graphic Man talking about something. Say that I've got I'm putting a bunch of discs together, but I'm waiting on a spindle of more discs to come, so I have some. Sal Tarantola, I believe, one of the new viewers, is wanting to see House of Mystery comics, and I could do that. Oh, did you ever think you'd see Juggernaut on a Coca-Cola bottle? No, I didn't either. That brings me to Deadpool versus Wolverine. I haven't seen the movie yet. Not that I'm boycotting it. I would have seen it, but the theater down the street is still playing Twisters, third consecutive week. And it's not a movie I'm really thrilled about seeing. I think the new Superman's in that movie, Twisters, but I don't really want to watch a movie about tornadoes right now, honestly. They did have a poster up for a Kevin Costner Western. I thought that was going to play there next, but the poster's been taken down. Maybe they'll play Deadpool. They've only played one R-rated movie since I've been here in over 2 years. They try not to play R-rated movies. But Deadpool is like the #1 movie in the nation now. It's made a ridiculous amount of money. I always loved the Wolverine character since his inception in the comic book. I've been reading the new X-Men since just maybe a few months into its run. I think I started a little late, maybe in 76 instead of 75, but I didn't listen to my friend Roland Perry on the playground in 5th grade when he said, this new X-Men is great. I said, yeah. And then once we moved to Texas and I wasn't able to thank him anymore, I discovered, this comic is great. So anyway, so Wolverine's great. I always liked Hugh Jackman's portrayal as Wolverine. First 2 Deadpool movies I've enjoyed. An old friend of mine, older than me, wiser than me, said, I hated that. His friend took him to see Deadpool, and he says, and he was an old comic collector who was collecting comics. He was buying comics when I was born. He's, 13. Is he 13 years older than me? Wait a second. Seven years older than me. I say 13 because I know I'm 13 years older than my wife. Well, this guy's 7 years older than me, but that's an important 7 years to have been born in the late 1950s as opposed to in the middle of the 1960s like I was. That means he was a kid and he during the Silver Age and was able to buy the books. And the ones he couldn't get, he could order from, what's his name? My mind's drawing a blank right now, from the ads in the comic books. And he said when the moon landing was happening in 1969, he could have cared less about looking at the TV because he was busy opening his box from Robert Bell. That's the name, the guy that invented the comic bag. He'd gotten a box or some package from Robert Bell, and he was looking through his issues that he'd gotten. So he had most of the early Spider-Mans, and he gave me his Avengers collection. He sold his X-Men. He had X-Men 1 up through the new X-Men. He sold that through Heritage. He wasn't really happy with the experience, so he just said to me, here's a long box of all my Avengers from Avengers 16 up through, the mid-1970s. And he said, here, they're going to a good home. Because his daughters aren't interested in them, and he just didn't want to sell them through. He'd just rather they go to someone that he knew that was a friend. Because he was moving, and he just didn't want to keep up with that. But he still has all his Spider-Man books, and all that. So he said he didn't like Deadpool, and I always really respect his opinion in music and movies. I mean, he's into all the same culture I'm into, except he's like a mentor to me. He's like an older brother to me. My friend lives back in Dallas. Haven't talked with him in a while. We ought to call him. But if you're watching this, so I had to rethink Deadpool. It's like, well, And I keep asking people that know, because I never read Deadpool comics. I have the first appearance of Deadpool in New Mutants 98, and that's the only thing I've got. I don't have any Deadpool comics at all. I don't buy new comics. And to me, 1990s are new comics. I like the comics from my youth and from before my youth, you know, the older stuff. And is this movie Deadpool? Is that really what it is in the comic? Do they say the F word all the time? Do they have there were things shown in that first Deadpool? It's like, I never thought I'd see a comic book character doing that with the scene with his girlfriend. It's like, is that in the comic? Is this like an adult Max comic, whatever Marvel calls its adult comics? And they said, no, it doesn't go that far. It just, he kind of breaks the fourth wall like the She-Hulk character did there in the John Byrne era. And I said, okay. So these movies are being aimed at people, guys in their 40s, I guess, and 30s, maybe younger people. But comic books traditionally are meant for children. The character of Deadpool was originally created for 12-year-olds that bought those X-Men comics back in the 90s. They were also watching the TV show on the cartoon on Saturday mornings. And the X-Men was, I mean, this is stuff meant for you know, kids in junior high, maybe high school. But kids don't read those comics anymore. Now they're read by older people. And it's like you start thinking, okay, I saw the trailer for Deadpool versus Wolverine. This should be a dream, but it just seemed like every joke was saying that oh, look, they're saying the F word. Look, they're saying the F word again. And then they have all these cameos. So look, there's Henry Cavill playing a Wolverine from another time branch. And I guess you see him for 3-4 seconds, and people, oh, that's thrilling. And look, there's another character that you see for a few seconds that's from this and it just seems like, but I don't know, I haven't seen it yet. So I like the first two Deadpool movies, maybe I'll like this, but it's just starting to get kind of annoying. I don't know if I want to see just the comedy. I like humor in movies, but you know, Disney, they said, well, there's no politics in this. That's good. Well, is there no politics? If you're taking a comic book character and debasing the characters to that extent, is that not a political statement? Is that not just like pulling down a statue of Thomas Jefferson? I'm not that Wolverine and Thomas Jefferson are, you can equate them, but it's still part of our culture, that's all part of the cultural Marxism, is to destroy things. But don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll like it. We'll see. It just seems a little creepy in a way. A little weird. Okay, what am I doing? Oh, I should show you. I kind of created a music room in here. It's a work in progress. And so this television is from it's my childhood television. This is my very first TV. My parents bought it for $100, and it was bought in the summer of 1976 so I could have my own television in my room. And on the back it says July 1976. So they made it red, white, and blue. I don't know if that makes it collectible or what. So I've got all these radios that I've collected over the years, and stereos, and anyway, that's what I've been doing here. My wife keeps saying she's going to give me a haircut. I need a haircut bad. Okay, so, oh man, there's just too much stuff, man. I got to get this stuff moved. It's like I put these boxes on top of these boxes, and then I go, oh, I don't know where to put them. And then nothing gets done. Maybe I should let me just alphabetize all this stuff first, and then I'll know when I pull a box down, what to put in it. Oh, we don't have music playing. That's the problem. When I don't have music playing, I get irritable. And I'm missing the preparation for the Trump rally just to be with you guys. Okay, let me see what Silver Age, Marvel, and DC I have to file. Maybe none. Well, I've got some Bronze Age horror books here. I think I separated my Bronze Age horror DC books and Marvel, which I shouldn't have done. It's really hot in here, man. I've got this 1950s fan down here, and these little pieces get caught from these resealable bags. Kid. The other day I got inspired. How do other people organize their comics? So I typed in comic book room tour on YouTube. I said, I want to see how other people organize their comics, because maybe I can learn from them, right? So I see that every video I watch, a lot of these people are saying they were born in like 2000, which means they were born when I was 35 years old. So these are, and most of these are much younger. Most of the people on YouTube showing comic books are much younger. I have an older demographic that watches this show, and so the way they do it, they've got walls of comic books, graded, some usually graded, and then at halfway down the wall, they've got bookcases that have very expensive, like $500 statues of X-Men and stuff, you know, in action poses. And then down below that, they have their omnibus, their omnibuy, omnibuses, books that are this thick, collecting comics. I have some omnibus, but I have them hidden. because I'm kind of embarrassed. They're to me, they're kind of ugly looking on a shelf, but the younger people think that's really great. Oh, and then they have strings of LED light, I guess, behind the bookcase, giving a blue or red glow to their basement. A lot of times they're in a basement. That seems to be the general, the cool way to do a comic room. And I think people get inspired by watching other people on YouTube and then try to do. I think maybe the granddaddy of doing that kind of comic book room might be for the youngsters is Jim Mint Collectibles. I couldn't remember his name. I was calling him Statue Bob. And Kevin thought that was amusing. I was just like, because he's friends with Comic Tom, so this is Statue Bob. But he's a younger guy that he's kind of has gold chains, and someone was explaining to me, a friend of mine was on the phone the other day explaining to me, well, what happens is it's not necessarily that these people are rich that do these channels, because these statues all cost so much money, you know. How do they affording to get these new statues all the time? He says the companies send them a statue, so because they know they have a pretty big channel and they'll review it, they get a free statue. And I said, oh, my wife watches all these channels with ladies doing, well, in some cases, usually they're ladies, in some cases it's a guy doing a makeup channel and showing all, but they get the makeup free from the company and the cosmetics, you know, the product. That's in if you ever watch these makeup channels with your wife, they call it the product. If you go in to a Sephora or one of these makeup stores, which if you have a wife or a girlfriend and you've been into before, you know, when you're a single guy, a Sephora, you don't even know what that is. You would never go in that store. But once you have a girl around, you go into Sephora and you have, and the lady said, well, this is our product. They always call it product. I just thought, that's weird. Weird, just like those horrible Republicans, they're weird. And the thing on YouTube, everybody calls their shows content. I don't like those terms, man. It's just too 1984 sounding. It's a show, man. This is my show. And we're an hour and 8 minutes into it. You haven't seen a comic book, and you might not ever see one the whole show. Fast forward and see when I hold a comic book up, then you could be entertained. You think I'm here to amuse you? I'm not here to amuse you. I'm here to amuse myself. Okay. Oh, well, I'll just figure this out. I gotta figure this out. This was always in the closet growing up. And I saved it. And my mom just kept it in the closet. So I guess this is when my mom went through menopause, she had this and she never opened it. And so she never needed it. And she just never threw it away, because then I guess throwing this away would be acceptance. Oh, I've been through menopause. I don't need these anymore. Anyway, but now it's cool just because of the 1970s graphics on it. So now I've got a box of these, and I can't throw it away. It's just cool looking. I went on eBay. People are selling these boxes for over $100. So you think we're bad as comic book collectors? There's people that collect boxes of that, man. But, you know, what can I say? I gotta move this stuff to get to the comic book, so that's a collectible. All right. Oh man. this is a box I need to go through. Everything got unorganized when the dog puked in here. Oh man, okay. There's a Vault of Evil. That needs to be. Oh, okay, here we go. Oh, okay. All right. Now we're cooking. I found all the books I was looking for. Excellent. Excellent. Whenever I find an Alf book, I buy it for my wife because she grew up with that show. I don't think I ever watched an episode of it. I was aware of it. Silver Age bags and boards, they'll turn up. Maybe this will work. This is my wife's comic. She got it because she likes the Misfits. She likes Glenn Danzig. And see, this is where Glenn Danzig stole that skull. Alright, fits in this bag because it's a more modern comic. See, when the video game ads started to appear on the back of comics, it was pretty much, I didn't want to accept it at the time, but it was pretty much the end of comics for me. They were still good. They start doing little stunt things where they would, they killed off Superman, and they killed off the Flash, and all these characters in Crisis on Infinite Earths, which everybody's nostalgic for Crisis on Infinite Earths. I thought, you know what, I just didn't like them doing that to those characters. Oh, well. Okay, so this box is not the first box. The first box should have action in it. This box starts with adventure comics. There's just not enough light in here. Okay, how many plugs are over here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. Okay, in the Silver Age ones, I put Amazing Spider-Man in the A's. Over here in the Bronze Age, I'm pretty sure I put Amazing Spider-Man under S. Anyway. Pretty sure. Okay. So I have Amazing Spider-Man number 50. There's a subscription crease. It's not that bad. Okay. So I'm going to put that in with my Amazing Spider-Mans. So. I have a fake Amazing Fantasy number 13. It's fake from the JCPenney set. And this is a facsimile of Spider-Man #1. It's more recent vintage, $4. So, then I have issue 22. $32. Then I have 54. And we'll put 50 in front of that, and the first bit of organization has been done for the day at 1 hour and almost 17 minutes. Then I have 55. $57. Now if I could get 56, I would have a little bit of a run there. 58. Yeah, I'm starting to have like a little bit of a run here. That's what the new comic collectors call it, a run. 59. Used to be a run would be like a run in your stockings, you know. But now a run is some issues, subsequent issues in order. 59. Ooh, 62. $64. And I have a 65, 66. Okay, we don't need to worry about that. Okay. Okay, so I need to file this Strange Adventures. This I put under S for Superman's Girlfriend. Our Army at War. Facsimile. This is a real one. Then I've got some Fantastic Fours I've got to file. 86, 109, 82. DC Special. Brave and the Bold. And then this gold key, Bullwinkle, goes over here. And I'll pull out the gold key box. I might do that. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow night during the Dum Dum. Maybe we'll do one more Dum Dum on Thursday night. Before we move it to some other mutually agreed upon night. We'll see. Okay, fantastic. This is Action to Adventure. I got a couple of books I need to file in here. This box is ACG Comics and EC Comics. Obviously I don't have many EC Comics, and EC Comics you're going to see in here are going to be those reprints in the early 70s or from the when was it, the 90s, when that show was on HBO. It seems like there was an ACG book I got recently from that England teen auction on Saturday night. You know what, I'll probably put some of these books in there too. Just because I don't know I have any other place to put them. I've got a box I was just looking at that has later issues of Marvel Tales, the comic that reprints the older Spider-Man books. But there's some space in there. And some people put styrofoam blocks or hardcover books to fill up the space, you know, so the books don't sag. But I'm just going to pull out generic stuff I don't want to throw away, like this. This shows original art that's for sale. This is probably from 30, 40 years ago. They're selling this cover to Vault of Horror for how much? Johnny Craig cover for Vault of Horror 24 for $2,000. That's a lot of money to me, but that's a ridiculously low amount of money for what it would be worth today. But so that's, and then here's the kitchen sink press, and I saved it just because of the cover. But you know, inside it just shows the upcoming kitchen sink press stuff. One of these got caught in the fan. Just little things you get free at the counter when you're in the comic shop that I just have never thrown away. This is from 2005, which to me seems like yesterday, but I guess it's almost 20 years ago. But these, you know, I can just put them in there and fill up some space, right? Okay. There's some cool stuff I have that I have no idea how I got it, man. What in the name of heck? A bunch of Harvey comics. I need to pull out the Harvey box and start filing in there. One of the songs on this disc, this Christmas disc, will get me a copyright claim, and I always have to go in and mute that segment. I just don't know which one it is. Archie. Classics Illustrated. Golden Age. Golden Age. This was a gift from Captain Strangelove. Oh yeah, it's got to be over here then. Oh, I've got an atom to file. I will bag it, but I don't know where I put the bags and boards. But anyway, it's an issue of the Atom, number 30, that I'm going to file into this box. Adventure. No, I'm not, because that goes to Amazing Spider-Man, and that's AM. This is AT, so I need another box. So what is? Oh. I was going to file this facsimile that just came out of Mad number 1. You might still be able to get this pretty easily. I recommend that you get this. It is going to, if you care, it's going to go up in value because EC comic collectors have, I've noticed online, are universally just thrilled about this reproduction and its quality. It's a little bit smaller, but it's very, very well done. So, I think I've got some ads in here. Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know. Let's put it in there. This is a Democrat-produced comic with a superhero team that's going to help. This superhero is going to help make sure that the evil, weird Republicans don't cheat and steal the election. That's what this comic was put out by the government in Arizona. Was putting this out to let people know that they need to watch out. They always accuse this other side. Some comment just came in. They always accuse the other side of what they're doing. You notice that? Yikes. This is driving me mad. Oh, here's more Silver Age. I noticed they're having a discussion on that other live stream that comes on Thursday, Psychotronic Squirt Gun. They were asking, the host is a younger guy that's learning about comics and has a lot of enthusiasm. And he wasn't really sure when the Bronze Age started and the Silver Age ended, because he had I think he thought maybe when comics went to 15 cents, that's when the Bronze Age started. There are different, everybody's got, there's different opinions on that. There's nothing set. Some people say it's when the first issue of Conan the Barbarian came out in 1970. I can see that maybe, but that's not how I look at it. And some people think it wasn't until Gwen Stacy was killed off that the Bronze Age started. And that's a several-year gap. I see it differently. See, comic books, you know, if there's anything you're buying at the supermarket that hasn't gone up in price over the last few years with this horrible intentional, you know, that's the thing. They get some guy that's clearly incompetent and senile, and they say, well, the guy's just dumb, he's just senile, he doesn't know what he's doing, that's why he's making all these mistakes in inflation. No, he's just a front man. The people, it's all being done intentionally to wreck our society so they can bring, you know, one world government, all that stuff. But anyway, you got to bring down the United States from within. But comic books started, what we know of as comics, kind of started in the 30s. They were 10 cents. In the 40s, they were 10 cents. In the 50s, they were 10 cents. And then right at the end of 1961, they go up to 12 cents. They go up 2 cents. That's not, they didn't go up much for decades. They were But what was in reality happening, the comics were getting thinner. You didn't get as many pages as you did in world, at the beginning of World War II. And by the 50s, comics were thinner and the page count was going down, but the price was staying the same, just like you get a drink and it's a little bit smaller, but you're paying the same price. Or maybe you're paying more and it's still getting smaller. And they wanted to keep the prices down because comic books were like a loss leader. You attract the kids into the store with the comic book display in the front, and then the parents are dragged in, and then they buy something more valuable while they're there, while the kids are looking at comics. It's all just a trick to get the parents in there to buy something. They weren't putting these comics out just for the kids. When a kid goes into a store and starts looking at comics and their parents aren't with them, then all of a sudden the owner treats those kids like a-holes and say, hey, it's not a library, But if their parents are there buying a bunch of stuff, then they're like, oh, yes, son. So they had to go up to 12 cents, right? So the Silver Age started, with the first redone New Flash in '57, right? So with DC, and then Marvel got into it in '61, and so the Silver Age is basically the '60s. So in '68, I believe the comics went up to 15 cents. That's still the Silver Age. And then both companies realized they just weren't going to be able to keep it at 15 cents. So the idea was, well, what if we go up to a quarter and give the kids back a bunch of pages like they used to have? We'll go up to 52 pages and charge a quarter. We'll go up a dime and give more pages. Of course, a lot of the pages were reprints of old comics, which some kids probably didn't like because you could tell it was old. Weird people like me, I love the reprints in the back because that was a way to read stuff from decades ago, from the 40s and 50s. But Marvel and DC both did that. They went up to 25 cents and gave more pages. I consider that time period to still be the Silver Age. That's just me. There may not be anyone else that does that. It makes it easier for me to sort because a few years back, when I first started this channel, I had decided to separate my Silver Age and back from my, over here, my Bronze Age and up. As I just didn't think it was right for something like this that's new to be next to something that's cool like this. To me, they just shouldn't touch each other. That's just my philosophy. An issue of Excalibur or New Mutants should not touch an issue of X-Men from the 60s. It just there, because I collect time periods more than I collect characters, and I just wanted my 60s. I wanted this to be a collection like maybe you'd bought it in 1971 and all the comics were from before 1971 and back. And just you flip through it and you'd only see the old cool stuff. Like the stuff my older brothers would have collected in the 60s. That's what I wanted. So I separated everything. It took forever. Go back to my early episodes, you can see me doing all that separating, which I don't really recommend. It's probably better to keep everything organized alphabetically, all the companies all together. I think that's probably the best way. But then I started doing little stunt things because I saw that Night Tiger Comics every year had a Christmas show, and so he had all his Christmas comic books separated. And I thought, well, that's a great idea, and I did that, and I realized, okay, I'm going through my Archie comics, like, oh, where aren't there? There's all these missing numbers. Oh, they're in the Christmas box. And people do that. I think maybe Spinner X Studios does that too, and then they have a boxes for their Halloween comics, and it's like, no, then it boggles your mind. I've done stupid things. I've separated romance comics. I've separated Marvel horror, DC horror. I've separated DC war comics. I shouldn't have done all that because it makes it just too confusing. But then I have to remember, it's just too much to remember when you get old. So, whatever. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Somebody liked my photo on Instagram. It just popped up on my phone. So anyway, both companies went up to a quarter. I think Marvel tricked DC because Marvel only did it for a couple of months. Then they went down to 20 cents. DC, I think they obligated them. That DC went up to a quarter with the bigger page count for more like a year. Maybe it wasn't quite a year. And then Marvel was 5 cents cheaper than them. So they eventually reduced their count and went down to 20 cents. So for me, I can immediately tell when the Bronze Age starts because, let me show you. To me, this is still Silver Age because it says 52 big pages for 25 cents. When the DC comics go to 20 cents, that's the beginning of the Bronze Age for me. For Marvel, if it's got this corner box that was invented, this idea came from Steve Ditko to put a box there so that not all comics were on spinner racks. Some were displayed in stores kind of like this. And if you do that, you can tell, oh, that's an X-Men comic. Comics were displayed like this, just like magazines. So that's why that corner box is there. When the corner box goes away, when Marvel went to 20 cents, they did away with the corner box and they have Marvel Comics Group going across the top like that. That's, to me, once it has this cigar band or strip or whatever you want to call it, that's the beginning of the Bronze Age for me. And I came in right at the end of the Silver Age when the comics were a quarter, and then I started buying comics a lot when they were 20 cents. And then at the end of third grade, they went up to 25 cents. And then, then it happened really quick during the 70s. 30 cents, 35 cents, 40 cents. And it was because there was massive inflation during the 70s. And you can get political on that too, about Nixon going off the gold standard and all that, or whatever reason you want to possibly think. The comics went up, but they went up, and now I don't even know what they cost now. But I don't buy new comics now. Kevin at Gotham City Comics told me these books are great, and so I've been getting them from him. I think he's got a bunch of these in my whole pile. I'm trying to get enough here in this box that I'm going to read them all because I trust his judgment. It just looks like a really cool little universe being started. So that's about the only thing good going on now, except for all these facsimiles they're putting out. This is a cool thing they're doing now. Okay. Organized. X-Men, Brave and the Bold, Atom, Green Lantern, Flash, Superboy. I was going to call Gotham City Comics. You need to patronize Gotham City Comics in Mesa, Arizona. he's a good friend, and he appears on the show quite often, and he's got a tremendous store, because it's not just a comic store, it's a monster store. It has everything if you're a monster kid, if you're into that kind of stuff. Actually, this is a reproduction of an All-Star Comics. I guess I could put that in this box over here. What's this? All-Star number 3. There's another reproduction, facsimile, whatever. So All-American, I'll put All-Star after that. Okay, this is Iron Man 76. It's Soul Rage, but doesn't have a cover, but I'll put it in there with them. This is a well, it's not a facsimile. It's this is part of that J.C. Penney set that came out in the 90s. Oh, that was something I wanted to do. I wanted to look at, I've got that, people were talking about that Todd McFarlane Batman cover where he's got this ridiculously big cape. It kind of looks like what Spawn would ultimately be, and they were talking about how there's several printings of that, and I wanted to look and see if I've got a first printing of that. So maybe I should do that. But then people wanted to see House of Mystery. I found another box I didn't. Let's see. These are older comics, Golden Age, Prize Comics, Rawhide. Okay. Animal. No, I need the other one. Oh, there it is. With a bunch of stuff on top of it, wouldn't you know? When it gets really hot outside, Christmas music can have a psychological effect that would make you feel like it's cooler than it really is. Actually, that's not true, but it sounded good. Let's see. Oh, man. Box is getting too full, so I'll pull out this Oswald the Rabbit. You know what? I can put these two issues of Panic in with the ECs. Panic. It's a parody of the CinemaScope screens that they had before, and a parody of a Wheaties box. Yeah, well, I'm gonna put these in there, and then I'll keep Oswald in here. Oh, I've got the Super Comics in here. Okay. I don't have many Fiction House comics, unfortunately. That my light makes it hard to see. You can really see the genesis of Dave Stevens' art style here. People really like this cover. This is probably several weeks from now if we keep allowing lunatics to run the asylum. This is a reprint. It's from Super Comics. So I got this for $2 just about the time that the pandemic started from this store in Fort Worth. I mean, it's not in great shape, but you know, they're reprints. Okay. Okay, we're putting Little Beaver into this box, and I will get a Golden Age bag for it at some point. But I'll tell you, this comic has never been bagged and boarded, and since it was printed. I can guarantee you that it was never. So that would be something new introduced to it. Little Abner, Little Abner, Little Abner, Little Abner. Lone Rider. I comes before O. Goes in there. And then Animal Comics will go under A. A Date with Judy, Black Diamond. I don't know. Maybe it's because of my age, but whenever I see that, I hear that Kiss song in my head. Ooh, Black Diamond. Let's see. Black Diamond. All American Western. Animal would be between All American Western and Ben Bowie and his Mountain Men. When you don't have the rights to Davy Crockett, and Davy Crockett's the biggest thing in the world, well, this guy's got a coonskin cap too. Okay. And let's put this issue of Master Detective that reprints young King Cole stories from the Golden Age in here. Ooh, there's some Mads in here too. Let's pull those out. Put them in the EC box. That'll give me a little more room, a little more play in the box. And then that helps me be organized because, oh, this is a great cover. Look at that. They don't make them like this anymore. Okay. Oh, this should probably go in there too. It's a Bugs Bunny little miniature comic, but it's from the right time period, so I'll put it in this box. Bugs Bunny. Well, I'm going to go put this on my, I've got a stand out there where I put facsimiles from this time period. I can't do it right now because my wife's sleeping out there. Or was. Put that over here to remember. Yeah, you got lots of room in this EC box. So they were apparently reprinting the Panic comic, but I didn't really buy many of these because I already had the Russ Cochran box set of Panic. I should have bought more of these when they came out. That was foolish on my part. This is a weird, smaller comic. See, it's small, and it's. This is great. This is from the early 70s. These were the first of the EC reprints. See how that's why it says it's $1. It's put out by some really young guys, barely out of their teens. It's really kind of more of an underground comic. It was put out, I think they sold it in head shops, sent through mail order from the back of monster magazines, like Famous Monsters and stuff. So I've got some original ECs mixed in with these reprints. Let me put the originals right at the front. That would make more sense. This was a free comic book day thing, EC sampler. This is one of my only real ones. I won this from a contest. My wife's telling me not to use a particular bank account for now. Okay. So she is awake. So after this facsimile, I'll put this. It's a real copy of issue 14 that I got in the maybe early 80s or late 70s from Lone Star Comics. 15. And this is 19. It's made to look like a horse racing form. And this issue of Panic. And this issue of Panic. So I filed a few comics. I was going to put these into that Marvel Tales. It's already covered with something. Yeah, of course it is. All right, never mind. Maybe I should pull the Harvey box out of the closet. to file this issue of Batman in, but this starts with later period Batman. So this would be the beginning of the Bronze Age. See, now only 20 cents when this may be the first, in my opinion, Bronze Age issue of Batman. So that's issue 243. Oh, I've got 244. This is 250. Notice it looks like a horror cover. 252. Again, it looks like a horror cover. And it's going to be that way for a while. There's a Batman Against the Shadow. Okay. When I was first, starting to get into comics, one of the things that got me into them was monsters. The Comics Code Authority, which was brought in 1955 to regulate comics, self-censorship board, it was put into place because of a lot of stuff that in comics and crime and horror comics and stuff that was suggestive and too violent in comics. They were trying to clean them up so that the government wouldn't do the job for them. So the comic companies all decided to band together with the guy that ran Archie Comics, was pretty much in charge of it, and they had a self-censorship board. Well, that started in 55, and some of the rules were that you couldn't have vampires or zombies or the living dead or werewolves in comics unless they were depicted as cartoon characters, or if you were doing like a classics illustrated adaptation of Frankenstein or Dracula, if it was a classic literary kind of thing. But you just couldn't have vampires and the living dead in comics. It wasn't until Stan Lee kind of challenged the Comics Code with the story having to do with a drug overdose in The Amazing Spider-Man, and then the Comics Code backed down. Well, actually, they didn't back down. Stan Lee just put out the book without the Comics Code, and it still sold, and it still was on the newsstands. And then the Comics Code thought, oh boy, they're realizing we don't have as much power as they thought. Because they can put out comics and just bypass us, and they're still selling. So they started to relax their standards a little bit, so they weren't so draconian. And they said, okay, well, you can have living dead, so all of it you can have. So it's kind of like the Supreme Court relaxed the rules on what was as far as in motion pictures. Then all of a sudden there was an explosion of movies, movie theaters turned in the early 70s, showing, the kind of movies. The comics did that too. All of a sudden, we can do horror again? So all of a sudden, Joe Orlando, who had worked with EC back in the 50s, he takes over House of Mystery and House of Secrets over at DC that were kind of they started as horror comics, but they were doing superhero stuff in them, like Dial H for Hero, and he turned it into comics that really looked like the old EC comics with Bernie Wrightson covers, and so people don't understand that weren't kids back in the early 70s. Almost every comic on the spinner rack was a horror comic. Marvel was doing reprints of their old 50s comics, and I just realized this bag. I got this I got this from the Eglantine auction. I haven't opened it yet. The bag is it's on upside down. So let's look at it. Marvel was doing horror. They introduced, but Marvel was a little scared. They brought in a vampire character into Spider-Man, and he was Morbius. But Stanley had him called Morbius the Living Vampire because he's still it's scientific. He's not really dead. He didn't really come back, so he's not technically undead. And then, you know, Tales of the Zombie was a magazine, so that definitely wasn't under the auspices of the Comics Code Authority. But this year reprints older horror stories, some pre-code. Look at that, art by a young Gene Colan. This is what is going on there? Oh, it's missing a little corner there. Missing that. See that? Oh well, it's hard for me to find these books. So I saw this. I got it relatively cheaply from that auction on Saturday night on YouTube from Eglantine. So why was I telling you a history of Comics Code again? So there was just horror everywhere. And then the books that weren't horror comics, like Batman and Superman and Teen Titans, had skeletons and monsters. Every book, it looked like the spinner rack was nothing but horror. That was the way it was. Okay, so I was wanting to look at these Todd McFarlane Batmans just to see what printings I have. Because I heard people talking about it. Well, I didn't hear it, except in my head. I was reading on Facebook people talking about what printing and what. And so I want to see, do I have first printing? Oh, look at this. How about that? I bought this because it had a cool cover. You know, and I love the cartoon on television. And now it's a very valuable book. This is the first appearance of Harley Quinn in comic book form. She was invented not for comics, but for the cartoon on television, because DC had some book out called Arkham Asylum. It came out as a graphic novel, and it came out on Thanksgiving Day. I swear it did. The comic stores opened on Thanksgiving morning so they could sell Arkham Asylum. I remember going to Lone Star Comics and buying it on Thanksgiving morning before we had our meal. And it was a big deal. They made a big deal out of it. Painted pages and everything. And I didn't like it. And years later, I sold it to a friend of mine at his store. Because it depicted the Joker as really being in love with Batman. And in one part, he has a wedding gown on because he's going to marry Batman. You know, it's like the reason he's so obsessed with Batman is he's really secretly in love with him. And I thought, this is just tasteless bullshit. So, because they'd done that in the comic, in the TV show, they said, well, we're going to give the Joker a girlfriend, so no one's going to be saying that weird stuff that they're trying to already introduce into the comics back in the late 80s, I guess that was. So that's where Harley Quinn came from. She was created to be a beard for Batman, I guess. And so that brings me to, okay, Bruce Timm did that, you know, behind that great series from the 90s, probably the best depiction of Batman ever outside of comics, up there with Johnny Quest. It was a fantastic show, made to look like the old Max Fleischer Superman on a TV budget. Great. Well, there was a new Batman cartoon that Bruce Timm was working on, and I heard him several years ago. We were still living in Texas, and they were doing this special. He says, yes, we're doing this new Batman cartoon, and it's going to be very it's going to be filled with diversity, with a great deal of inclusion and equity, and he just kept going. And everything in this whole preview about upcoming DC projects was just talking about diversity and equity. And so then I think, well, whoever they were creating that show for passed on. It's like, this isn't. So that wasn't a good sign. And now it's finally wound up somewhere. I think today is its opening day. It's starting on Amazon Prime or something. And they have 10 episodes, and it's been delayed. They've been working. Something happened. It's been several years. And then you see, oh, that's what happened. The Penguin is now a woman. And really, that's how you're gonna. You want can you just create some new characters and add them to the cast? Why do you have to change a character like the Penguin into a woman just to make it more diverse? There's a lot of great female characters already in the Batman mythos. You know, you got Catwoman, you got all these. And anyway, this new show is apparently set in the 40s or 50s. And but that's not a good sign. I guess I'll tune it in and watch an episode or two and give it. But I tell you, when I was at the Dallas Fantasy Fair in the 90s, 92, whenever it was, and they said, we've got a new Batman cartoon, and in Ballroom 2, we'll be showing 2 episodes of the upcoming Fox Kids Batman, the animated series. I walked here, sat down, I was blown away. They showed the Man-Bat episode on leather wings or something like that. And I thought, man, this is great. I can't believe what I just saw. It's just incredible. So I was recording on VHS every episode of that Batman the Animated Series. I couldn't believe it. How great it was. Okay, we're looking for Batman. What is that issue? It has a red cover. Man, where was that? There it is. Over the years, I picked it up like in dollar bins. Let's see. Okay. So, I guess you have to. So I've got a newsstand and I've got a direct version. This is the cover. They even made an action figure about a year ago of this. And see, it predicts what Spawn will ultimately become. And McFarlane puts his name in like a 60s looking Batman kind of logo. Okay, you have to look at the back cover, they say. And the ad either says 1988 copyright or 1989 on the back. And that tells you, or you can look in the indicia. I think I pronounced that right. That's one of those words that I always knew the word, but I didn't. Oh, see, I don't have my magnifying glass. That's a problem. This says 88. Oh, and it doesn't say second or third printing. See, that does say these. Oh man, come on, focus. Where is it? Have the? You see there? Somewhere in there. Yeah. So that's a real one, and it's a newsstand. Let's see if this correctly distributed one has that. Yeah, this says 88 too. That fan. I mean, the artwork inside is pretty pedestrian, but you know, it's all right. It's not my favorite time period of comics, but this cover is. You gotta admit, it's pretty cool. I've never been a Todd McFarlane fan. I think I have 1 or 2, maybe 3 issues of Spawn. I kind of got interested in when he brought in that angel character called Angela. I even have a big action figure. I thought that's a cool looking character. It's just the Spawn character is not an interesting character to me. So anyway, so I've got some real, I don't know if there's much of a price difference between the 1988 and the reprints, I don't know. But anyway, it's Batman number 423. Who cares? Somebody cares. This is the issue right before it. Oh boy. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? That's something I was meaning to do, is look up that and see if it's, and apparently I've got the real thing. It's the real thing in the back of your mind. Oh gosh, these are so heavy. Let's see if I've got any Bronze Age that needs to be filed in this box. Avengers, I don't think so. Okay, I promised to show House of Mystery. In here. It's a vintage Pigs in Space binder. Oh, I got my Star Wars cards in here. And these are reproduction Batman 66 cards. Oh, there's some Garbage Pail Kids. Kevin, if you're watching, you can tell me if these are valuable ones. Kevin is a noted Garbage Pail Kids authority. Man. It's hot up here, man. You know, it's proof that global warming is real because it never used to be hot at the end of July, man. It's usually very chilly. So all those Greta Thunberg people must be correct. We have to execute every cow on Earth. Okay. There's some more. This is he's going to laugh at my pathetic Garbage Pail Kids collection. But I have a lot of wacky packages. It's just, I mean, I was aware that Garbage Pail Kids was a cool phenomenon enough that I bought some, but I wasn't a kid then. I was in college. Wacky packages hit me when I was in elementary school. Oh, maybe I have more of these darn things than I thought. But it's inferior collection, I'm sure. Oh wow, I've got page after page of them. Let me know if I've got any super valuable ones. wonder if I pulled out the House of Mystery into separate boxes, now that I think about it. I don't know what series these are or anything. And this is the last page of these. And I've got some of these from the Addams Family movie that I never liked as much as I like the TV show. Although I have to give it to the movies. Christina Ricci's Wednesday was very well done. Oh, speaking of, here's cards from the Batman the Animated Series. Even though I was in my 30s at that point, I was getting those. There's some Bernie Wrightson cards. I don't know, maybe you guys are into cards and you want me to show them. Here's some yellow bordered Star Wars. I think that was the second series for the first movie. They even had alien cards. It's weird when they've got cards for an R-rated movie. Not as weird as someone that thinks there's only... All right. Oh, I need to put some Doom Patrol books in this box, I think. Doctor Strange, Detective. I thought I saw some recent Doom Patrol books over here. Yeah. This isn't my Doom Patrol. What? This is bagged and boarded by the people at Half Price Books, and they put it in with this kind of board. It really, I think, would be better unbagged and boarded than in there with this kind of board. So that's just my judgment call. So that's Doom Patrol 3, and this is 2. People at Half Price Books don't necessarily use super nice comic collector type stuff. Come on, Doom Patrol. Doctor Strange. No, the Doom Patrol looks like it got bounced to the next box. Okay. Oh, this says Doom Patrol through Gargoyles, or Gargoyle. So, into this box would go Flash, this issue of the Flash would go in there. 227. $253. $214. $221. House of Mystery on the bottom, so I gotta pull all these boxes. Ghost Rider, Ghost, Green Lantern, Gru. Ghost Rider, Gru. Gru. Oh boy. I just found these doing patrols I gotta put in. And this, where was the shoe? Gru too. Where did that go? Here. I'm just gonna throw the Gru in at random. I'm not even gonna try to alphabetize. I'm too tired. It's too hot. There were some more Grus over here. At a later date, when it's not hot in here, I'll make sure the Grus are. Here's issue 52 and 53. Okay, don't say someone's trying to call me. I see who's trying to call me. What does that say? Oh, I don't know what number that is. Man. Tell you what, I found the House of Mystery, but I'll show them to you tomorrow. I don't know who that is calling me, and it could be something important. So I'm gonna have to end this show. Watch it be some robocall. I'll show House of Mystery tomorrow night. And it's just too hot up here. Take care, everyone.